Okay, continue. So location of Hilda Solis Care First Village project, as Martin showed us earlier, it's, I think I need to move this a little bit up. I don't, okay, that's okay. So the project is located to the east of Chinatown and west of Men's Central Jail. To the south is the Union Station. It is also close to Chinatown Metro Gold Line. Bus stop at Vignes Street, which is kind of south west of the property, is right in front of the property. So getting to this site is easy. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. Yeah, this is a vacant view, an aerial view of the vacant lot not long ago. So the 4-acre downtown parcel had long been a factory that manufactured oil well equipment and later was a machine shop. Since the 1900s, the property served as various metal manufacturing businesses. The site was left vacant since 1995 and was used as a temporary overflow parking lot, as Martin mentioned, for staff working at Men's Central Jail through October 2020. And in 2018, LA County purchased the property. So we can go to the next slide. This is a conceptual site design and layout. The concept was to have a hybrid of permanent housing and short-term temporary shelter. So the site houses 4 temporary housing clusters, and those are what you see on the south of the parcel, the blue and the white buildings. 2 permanent residential buildings. Those are the 2 long pink and yellow on the north of the plan. On-site parking, which is to the right of the buildings, northeast. And below the parking area, it's the admin building, on-site supportive service offices, and we have Alhambra Avenue is on the, if you can see, north of the long rectangular pink building. And we have additional parking there for staff overflow parking. They have parallel parking on Alhambra Avenue. On the southeast corner of the map, where you see those trees, the green area, that is a dog park. And of course, landscape, courtyards, and other outdoor amenities. There are 232 units of housing for people who have been experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. All units are fully furnished and include a twin-size bed and linens, a wardrobe, microwave, mini fridge, desk and chair, dishes and dinnerware, air conditioning unit, wall-mounted television, a private shower, of course, toilet and vanity in each unit, and vinyl flooring throughout the units. So the way we kind of divided this project into 2 site developments. We call it Site 1 development, 2.2 acres, and that's kind of the north of the plan and east. And that is the 132 beds, 2 3-story residential buildings made of shipping containers. They were fabricated locally in Carson by Crate Modular. They are fully furnished bedrooms with private shower, toilet in each unit. And each unit is about 160 square feet. So these shipping containers are those 2 long rectangular buildings you see on the north of the plan, the pink and yellow, or orangish pink and yellow. Thank you. Yeah, those. So that's part of Site 1 development. And each of these containers are 40 by 8, and they fit 2 units. The long rectangular buildings you see, it's not one container. They're made out of several containers, and they're stacked up as well. And these buildings are placed on permanent concrete foundations that can be utilized as interim housing, temporary or permanent. And then to the right of those buildings, on the right and east, yeah, that the yellowish rectangular building right there. Thank you. There is a 6,000 square foot of modular support administrative building that was fabricated in Texas. And that houses offices, dining facilities, commercial kitchen, laundry and support services, such as case management and counseling to serve both permanent and interim residents. There are also various site amenities and outdoor dining area. You see those small umbrellas in front, green tree, yeah, that's an outdoor dining area. And right north of that admin building is the parking area. We have 18 stalls, 2 EV stalls, and 2 ADA accessible, exactly. And as mentioned earlier, on the Alhambra Avenue, we have provided 13 on-street parallel parking stalls for the staff, overflow parking. And the main entrance is from Alhambra Avenue. If you can see the gray, the gray driveway, and yes, exactly, that's the area. And that's one access point, and that's for security reason. Of course, there are additional gates and means of egress, but for security purposes, that is the main access point that everyone will be using. And then the Site 2 development, the 1.8 acre, is to the south of the property. Yes, all of those blue buildings with the white walkways. Each of those buildings is 65 feet by 13 and a half. There are 100 beds there, 20 single story, temporary wood modular buildings. We call them sleeper buildings. They are modular or trailers. And they were fabricated in Boise, Idaho. Each building, each of those blue rectangular buildings that you see, there are 5 units in there, fully furnished again, bedrooms with private shower, toilet in each unit. And these units are slightly larger than the ones in the shipping containers. These are 175 square feet. And the trailers are placed on temporary support. And when I say temporary, they are permanent foundations on jacks. And they can be moved in the future, leaving open the option to build permanent multi-story buildings to expand the housing if needed. And then dog park on the southeast corner, the green area, right? Thank you. And landscape courtyards and other outdoor amenities everywhere. Also, landscaping is provided along Alhambra and along Vignes Street. We have an 8 feet high black vinyl coating chain link fence along Vignes, Alhambra, and part of College. And then there is a regular chain link fence along railroad track. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, this is a real nice conceptual site design. It's a bird eye view of the site, and you can see the container, the shipping container, the yellow, and now it looks orange in the picture. Those are the 3-story to the left, and then the white 1-story buildings with the white walkways you see, those are the trailers. And then to the back is with all those colors there, that's the admin building. Next, please. Yeah, this is, these are the 2 3-story residential buildings, the shipping containers. And this is a view of the courtyard between the 2 buildings. The width of these walkways and balconies that you see on the buildings, they're pretty wide, they're 5 feet, very nice. And the distance between the 2 buildings is 28 feet with landscape in between. Next, Martin. Yeah, and this one is the exterior walkway of one of the shipping containers standing on the balcony overlooking the sleepers or the one-story trailers. And you can see the admin building with the dining areas to the far with the teal color building. Next, Martin. And this is the outdoor dining area outside of the admin building. We can go to the next one. This is a typical bedroom unit layout for the site one. These are the shipping containers. Each container is 40 feet by 8 feet that fits 2 units in each. Each unit is, as mentioned, is 160 square feet. If you recall the pink building, that one houses 72 bedroom, 24 ADA and 48 standard bedrooms, or units actually. And then the yellow one houses 60 bedrooms and 20 ADA, 20 standard units. I wanted to point out here that there is a kitchenette. I don't know if you can see in each unit. However, we have provided plumbing lines behind the kitchenettes for future sink if there is a desire for a full kitchen. We can go to the next slide. And this one is a typical bedroom unit for site one. These are the shipping containers. It's an actual photo, fully furnished bedroom, ADA bathroom with ADA shower, room air conditioner with room thermostat, HDTV, counter with microwave, refrigerator, bed linen, and bath towels are included as well. Next. And this is another photo of the shipping containers. We can go to the next slide. And this one is a typical bedroom unit layout, the larger one for the one-story trailers. These are, again, fully furnished units. And they are 65 by 13.5, and each of these containers fit 5 units in them. We can go to the next. And this is, again, actual photo of a fully furnished bedroom for site 2, the trailers. These are the trailers, the larger one, 175 square feet. We can go to the next slide. These are more pictures of the trailers. And you can see on the top left, those are the 2 trailers, and in between is the walkway. So the doors that you see, those are the entrances to each unit. We can go to the next one. And so the project timetable. So the goal was to house people as quickly as possible. We had a very aggressive schedule. Therefore, there was concurrent and overlapping contracting, design, jurisdictional review, and construction process to meet the schedule. We had close county and city partnership. City of Los Angeles will be helping to fund facility operations. The project, as mentioned, initiated by Supervisor Hilda Solis's motion on September 29, 2020. Site work began October 11, 2020. Not even a month after. Temporary certificate of occupancy issued, and then the project was substantially complete by the end of April 2021. Residents currently are occupying some of the buildings. What we're working on currently is the low voltage and security work. That's still ongoing, and it's to be complete by August 2021. And our budget was $57 million, with $42 million from CARES Act funding. Los Angeles County built the project, and it is operated by City of Los Angeles. $81,896 is cost per residential unit. $3.62 million cost for service admin building, $19.4 million cost for site preparation, utilities, and soil remediation. $4 million for service operators, additional on-site security measures, and $245.690 per bed. That is the project cost. And so it, as mentioned, so work completed in February. It was the kitchen installation and the admin building. As mentioned, substantial completion was March 31st. We completed the hardscape and landscape and fencing April 21, and we're still working on the security system enhancement. So we had a very aggressive schedule, as mentioned, from contract, site prep to substantial completion. Modular construction and shipping containers were used because it would enable the housing units to be fabricated while the site was being prepared. And the team has been working all hands on deck on a 7-day a week operation with 2 full shifts per day to reach the finish line. Plan check and permits were expedited by LA County Building and Safety, County Fire, Regional Planning, Public Health, and Public Works. These are our heroes. A big thank to all of them. The team has worked creatively to deal with unforeseen conditions such as contaminated soil and underground storage tanks and COVID-19 infections in the factories while maintaining schedule. So I'd like to mention the names of the project team. Vincent Yu is our Assistant Deputy Director for Project Management Division. Sohaila Kalhor, me, Principal Engineer. Felicia Yang is the Senior Capital Project Manager. And Myron Lee is the Project Manager. NAC Architecture was the architect, and Bernard's is the contractor. Bernard's subcontracted with Vista Modular, a national company with experience in handling one of the big roadblocks in modular construction. So we can go to the next slide, I believe. Thank you. So the service provider is Weingart Center. They are operating the center, and they started April 2021. Target population, people experiencing homelessness, PEH within the city of LA with priority in CD14 includes PEH within 500 feet of the freeway, overpasses, underpasses, and or ramps. And people experiencing homelessness, age 65 years of age or older, and other vulnerable PEH. Funding, as mentioned, funding operations, it's City of LA will fund $55 per bed per night for all the units until June of 2025. And county will cover any additional cost above the $55 per night. We can go to the next slide. These are the fund slides. So we had, these are construction photos. We had soil contamination, and based on historic records since 1906, the site was developed as an engine manufacturing facility. The site continued manufacturing of engines and other metal equipments until the property was razed in 2005 and became vacant. So the sample soil was contaminated primarily with VOC, TPH, and lead, volatile organic compounds and total petroleum hydrocarbons and lead. Much of the top 4 feet of soil contained lead and was disposed of in a class 1 site. That's a site that can process contaminated soil. And we had to haul them over 100 miles away. However, a good portion of the soil and that kind of weird looking machine you see on the top left, that is actually, that was brought to the site. It's a processing plant. And so what we did, we processed on site, that machine encapsulates the lead content with cement. So it makes it safe for hauling the soil to a different class of, dump site, class 3 they call it, and which was only 20 miles away, hence saving money. So that's what we did. And new clean soil was imported into replace the removed soil. Another challenge we had, the site is within the LACD methane buffer zone. So a methane membrane was placed. I think it's shown on the next photo. If we go to the next one, or maybe another one. Yeah, these are, yeah, that's, so we had to place methane membrane. I think that's it. Something happened to my screen. Okay, I can see now, sorry. So that was the other challenge that we had. We can go to the next picture. And of course, time was the priority for this project. So while site preparation and foundation work took place, the buildings were manufactured off-site. So this is the local Carson crate modular factory that these are the shipping containers that are being built there, and they're being repurposed. So we can go to the next. And these are, again, because I'm having a hard time with my screen here. So these are just, additional picture. We call them the flying buildings. Those are the flying buildings, the containers. And what you see to the left, those are the distance between the two buildings. And that's where we have all of our electrical, mechanical, HVAC, water heater, everything is fit there. So they're kind of exposed and they're outside of the building and they're accessible. It's easy, they're easy access. Can go to the next photo. These are, again, additional construction photos. The modular, the shipping containers, they're being placed on the foundation. And we can go to the next one. Again, flying buildings. Next one. And this is the admin building and the trailers under construction. We can go to the next one. And what you see, these are, again, construction photos. And on the bottom right picture, that's a picture of Filterra that we use. This is a specially engineered stormwater treatment system to remove, pollutant from stormwater runoff. And we can go to the next one. That's a nice picture. And again, you can see the two three-story shipping containers to the back, and then the modular buildings, the one-story to the left, the admin building, and the parking space. We can go to the next one. Again, the beautiful shipping containers, two buildings. And as you can see, landscape started. This is the earlier picture, so we have more landscape there now. Can go to the next one. Another good view of that. And what you see in the front, that the tall, like a tower, white tower, that's the elevator. And by the way, most of these units are accessible and ADA compliant. They have wide balconies, stairs. They're beautiful. We can go to the next one. Again, another nice photo. I believe that's the dog park to the bottom photo. That's it's fenced off, the dog park, and we use DG. It's easier to clean. We can go to the next. This is the admin building, and I think we had those tables for one of the events that we had there. And the parking is kind of to the left of it, the on-site parking. Martin, we can go to the next one, please. This is the inside of the admin building, the kitchen, and that's the front to the top left. And those are the cubicles and offices. We can go to the next one. Oh, well, we're done. So we can entertain any questions.
Thank you so much, Sohaila. It was a really great presentation. I know we already have a couple of questions in the chat. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourselves, or I don't know if you're able to raise your hand. If you are, please feel free. But we could start with the questions in the chat. So Sohaila, we have a question from Jessica. She's asking, why was the project separated into Site 1 and Site 2? Why not just all shipping container style housing or all trailer style housing on the whole site?
Well, this was, it's kind of hard to answer the question. The reason for that was we are keeping Site 2 for future projects. There may be multi-story buildings there, but the idea was to get people in as quickly as possible. And that was one of the best ways to get people in. And then we had the modular, so it was both permanent and temporary. The modular buildings are more for temporary purposes, and the shipping containers are for permanent. But the temporary ones, and as I mentioned, they may be replaced with more permanent projects.
Thanks, Sohaila. And I can add a little bit to that, since our office worked directly with Public Works on this project. I know that originally we wanted to build more than just 232 units, but because at the time this project started, we thought we were under the timeline of having this completed by December 2020, which just left about four or so months to do this whole project. So that really limited the number of units we could actually get fabricated and built and installed at that time. And we also had some funding limitations where the estimates came back, I think, a little bit higher than we were expecting. So we had to downsize a little bit accordingly. And the conclusion on that was that we would build a little bit denser on Site 1 and build these one-story modulars on Site 2. And these modulars can be reused at a future date. We can move them to another site and then build a denser development on Site 2. And Site 1 would remain in place while that happened. So that was the idea there. Like Sohaila said, we would keep Site 2 available for denser future development and relocate those modulars on Site 2.
Thank you, Martin.
And Sohaila, we have another question from Darren. What were some of the engineering challenges unique to using shipping containers?
Well, there aren't, well, as far as the construction, these shipping containers were built in the factory. They're straightforward. There is no challenge in that, really. One of the challenges is when you have shipping containers, the modular buildings, they have to be approved by the state. So the local building department, which was Building and Safety Public Works, they don't have jurisdiction over the inside of the buildings or any part of the inside, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or the building part. So we had to go through the state and to get the approval. But when they come to the site, anything you add to it, then that becomes a challenge because you have to have the state approval. So I wouldn't say engineering challenges, but I would say jurisdictional review challenges. And because we were in such a, fast schedule, so that was something we had to go back and forth, and that was challenging. Other than that, they're really, they are built in the factory, so we didn't have challenges there. Uh, the speed of the process was, we had to do everything at the same time. So one of the challenges that we had was, we were designing and we were building, we were getting the approvals, it was, and we were preparing the site, we had site contamination. So there were so many different aspects, and they were all happening at the same time. We kind of bypass all that steps of construction, stuff, design and build, review and build. So that was a big challenge, because we had to make sure there are minimum errors, no back and forth. We wanted to build it as fast as possible.
Thanks, Sohaila. We have another question in the chat. This was such an accelerated project schedule. Is there a quantifiable cost increase for a project on such a short timeline?
Yes, of course there is, because you can save money when you have a shorter project, the time, but we had to work double shifts. There is a cost increase. It could have been less expensive if we did it for a long period of time, but I'm not sure how much money we would have saved, because the goal was to get people there as quick as possible. And I think there is no value to that.
Thanks, Sohaila. Another question in the chat. Does the county plan to use a similar model to build housing at other sites in the future?
I'm sure we have plans for future sites, similar models. We may do certain things differently. This was the first project, and I can say I've been with the county for 30 some years. I have been involved with, I worked in building and safety, different divisions. I've been involved with a lot of construction and projects. I can say this was the fastest project I've ever done in my career. So we may do a little bit different, but yes, the concept is amazing.
Yes, I agree. I've been a county employee for 8 years now, and this is the fastest thing that I have ever seen the county do. So big round of applause to you, Sohaila, and the department for getting this done so quickly.
Yes, it was amazing.
Any other questions from anybody else in the room? And it doesn't have to be a question just about the project. It could also be about public works, or maybe Sohaila's career, and I'm sure she'd love to share a little bit about that with you too.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, Sohaila. So this is a really exciting project. I think kind of opening the door to a lot of solving solutions to the housing crisis. I think my question stems more from sort of the modularity of utilities. I see multi-stories here. Or did we consider pipe chases through, within the walls, or kind of how is the plumbing of something making it such that the containers can be moved from place to place? I'm assuming with the utility runs underground and then kind of going up through pipe chases.
Yeah, I don't know if we can go to one of the pictures. If we go back, I'll let you know when to stop. Right there. Okay, go this one. If you see to the left, you see those are all the equipments and plumbing and water, electrical, everything is between the two the shipping containers. And that was done purposely because they're accessible, easy to maintain, repair. easy to build, and you save money. So that was the idea. I don't know if I answered your question, but yes, of course, we did have the methane membrane, so we had to go under, and then we, came out to this. We call it like a shaft, or or the corridor, you can call it, and everything is there. And I think it's less expensive. They're all in one location, and it's efficient.
Oh, so it's prefabricated with sort of interconnects along the way. That's
So
interesting.
these are not prefabricated. So the way the way these shipping containers work, as I mentioned earlier, they are built, manufactured in the at the site, and then they get their approval through the state of California. So the state reviews them for code compliance. They come to the site. Of course, we need to get foundation permit. And then anything outside of the shipping containers, all the utility connections, those are done, they're not manufactured. They are done afterward at the site. They're site built.
Great, thank you, Sohaila. Any other questions from the team, from the room? I have a question, Sohaila. What was your favorite part about the project?
There are so many. I don't know if it's my favorite part, but the most amazing part for me, although we saw the construction and moving forward, but from one day to another, when all these buildings are stacked up and you see them, and you're so amazed how fast you can build. So that part was amazing to me. And I call those flying buildings. So that part was really amazing, although I knew that would happen, and I knew that's why we were doing this. But so that was one. And how fast we could get people in, and that was another amazing experience for me, because that was the goal, really.
Thanks, Sohaila. We have a raised hand from Monica. Monica, do you have a question?
Yeah, so with the fast-paced nature and like the importance of this project, I'm sure that there's some level of stress associated with that. So how did you kind of navigate that, or keep calm, cool, and collected as you are presenting this during the project? Or was there anything to help kind of ease that with the very expedited schedule?
No, there was no stress. I'm just kidding.
You almost got me. I was like, what?
I can tell you, our entire team, the design team, the construction team, the project management team, public works team, we worked nonstop. The only 2 days that everyone had off was the Thanksgiving Day and the Christmas Day. Just those 2 days, nothing else, since September of 2020. And most of the time, everyone worked 2 shifts. There were stresses, there were, sleepless nights, many of them. I think for me, and I believe at least, the people that we've been talking to and my team, I think thinking about the outcome and the purpose of the project, that kind of gets you going, and it gives you the positive energy. And when you have obstacles, there were some errors, of course, some difficulties, a lot of challenges, but you just don't want to give up, because you know what this is for. And I think that is how we coped with the project, with the challenges and difficulties and stress. And of course, a lot of chamomile tea at night, that helped too. And some glasses of wine.
Thanks for
Thanks.
sharing.
You're
Another
welcome.
question in the chat, Sahela. Did you learn a lot about the operations of interim housing in addition to the construction of these repurposed shipping containers?
Yes, I actually, I have to admit, I was clueless about the details, the policies, the regulations. I have worked in building and safety for several years. I considered myself a code guru, but I realized there are a lot of codes associated with shelters and homeless housing. I learned a lot. There are a lot of details and a lot of regulations, and I just the way the whole system is, how you bring clients in, how you accept them. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning.
Thanks, Sahela. Any other questions?
Asking the county and city.
All right. Well, I think that that looks like that's it for questions. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, Sahela, for the really great presentation. Before everybody leaves, if you're not camera shy, I would love to invite you to turn on your cameras and take a quick photo with us. So if you could please turn on your cameras now. I'm going to take a photo, and on the count of 3, smile. 1, 2, 3.
I'm glad to hear that. I've had conversations with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sahela, for joining us tonight.
I see some familiar faces there. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you, everyone. And you have my email address, my contact information. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me, call me. I'll be happy to answer and share my experience with you. Thank you again. Thank you, Martin, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you,
I said I
Sahela.
feel young today.
Thank you. Great
Thank
job.
you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.